I'm delighted to say Greg O'Shea is with us. Greg, good morning to you. How are you?
Hey, good morning. I'm very good. How are you?
Yeah, good. Congratulations. This is a remarkable story, particularly your comeback. It's Lazarus-like.
Oh man, it's ridiculous. Like, it still hasn't even sank in 2 days later. It's just, I'm so proud of the boys, and just it's great for Irish rugby in general and Irish sport.
You, at one stage, weren't a part of this team. You'd gone away from it, and then when you tried to get back in, you didn't get back in, and then at the last minute, you got back in, and then straight away back into the team. From your own perspective, were there stages along the way where you thought, my dream, my part in this is gone?
Yeah, so everyone kind of has their own individual story of how much they've sacrificed for this team, and my one's a bit weirder because I obviously did the whole Love Island thing, and I could have gone and done the celebrity life in London and moved to the UK, but I to use the Love Island phrase, I put all my eggs in the Irish Sevens basket, and I was like, no, I'm coming home. I've put so much work in with the lads. I really want to go to the Olympics. I can't give up on that dream. So I came back, and for the last 2 years, I've been training with the boys for the tournament that was on last weekend. But the thing was, I wasn't actually picked for the squad initially because I picked up a few knocks along the way, like hamstrings, groins, calves, and if you don't train you can't play, and it's just the way it was. But it was very embarrassing for me not being picked for something that I've been telling everyone for 2 years that I was going to do. The way sport plays out, one of the boys, Gavin Mullen, unfortunately picked up a knock. I got the late call Sunday night to fly to Monaco the next morning, and I ended up starting most of the games and playing all the minutes in the final. It's just incredible.
So when you didn't get the call because of the injuries, how low was that?
Oh man, like I remember I was actually embarrassed to tell my family, like my own dad. I remember he'd text me and he's saying, "Oh, best of luck for selection. It's out tomorrow." But I already knew that I wasn't picked, and I did have the heart to tell him, like, because there's so much gone into this, and he's so emotionally invested, and everything I've been doing is just for this team, because you have to commit that much for the Olympic sports, like, to try and get there. And the fact I hadn't been picked, it was my dreams just gone. And look, the world is weird and sport is weird, and it just worked out in my favour, thank God.
How long was the period between you being told that you weren't in and the injury happening to one of your teammates?
I got told on the Thursday I wasn't in, and then I was then rang on Sunday evening.
Right.
Gavin Mullen, he's an unbelievable player, but he needed to come back from a hamstring injury, and he just couldn't get it right in time to fly. So I got the call late Sunday to be there on the plane on Monday morning, which is great.
And what are you thinking in that period about, like, what you're doing next with your life?
Oh man, like, to be honest, I'd started planning the rest of my life. I was like ringing different things I have going on behind the scenes that I wanted to just jump into that, and I wanted to bury my head in the sand in a rugby sense, and just move on to the next chapter. But sport's funny, man, and it came back around, and it worked out, and now hopefully I'll be on the plane to the Olympics. That's the next squad I need to make.
Yeah, and so, but then you obviously start playing well enough to get back in the team pretty much straight away.
Exactly, yeah. So I don't know, Anthony Eddy just decided to back me. He just put me in at out half, and he seemed to like what I was doing, and I started every game from the second game on all the way through to the semi-final and the final, and I feel like I played my role in the team, and we won. So I'm delighted to just be part of the team and to play my role.
The Sevens is such a weird kind of bubble anyway in normal times, in that you kind of travel around and you play as a group. In COVID times, in a qualifier for the Olympics, that bubble must have been very intense.
During the pandemic, it was
just even in the qualifier there, the last tournament, like, everybody knows what's on the line.
Yeah, it's the most intense feeling. We were chatting last night as a team, and in the tent before going into the stadium to play the final game, no one was able to speak to each other. We were all nearly getting sick with the nerves, just because we know how much was riding on it. And it's not like it's a competition that's on again next year. You have to wait a full Olympic cycle to go again. Realistically, most of the team aren't going to be here again for the next Olympics. So it's like, it's do or die. This is it, lads. 14 minutes. You have to do it now. And thank God we did it. It worked out. All the training we did over the last 2 years, I'd say we were the most well-prepared team going into the tournament, just because the IRFU stuck with us and kept us training throughout the pandemic, sending out schedules for us to train 3-4 times a week. We kept doing like Zoom call to like gym classes together, just to keep morale up. And when we got back in, then we were all ready to go, and thank God we were fit and ready to win the thing.
So tell us about the final then. How did it go?
Man, there was a stage, I don't know if you saw it yourself, but we scored early on. Terry Kennedy went down the wing. He is just one of the best players I've ever played with in my life. He's incredible. He saw there was a little gap. He went down. We were 7-0 up. perfect start. And then the crazy thing about sevens is a bounce of a ball and the game can change instantly. France got 2 tries back to back, and you're just thinking, no, man, this can't happen. Like, this is everything. They can't take this from us. And got in at halftime, and we all kind of realized that we weren't tired. We were all still like laser focused, and you could tell that France were puffing a bit and they were struggling, and we just used that to kind of motivate ourselves to go again. 7 minutes, that's all it is. Like 7 minutes, just work yourself into the ground and see what happens. And it worked out. We got I think Jordan scored 2 tries and Harry scored then the final try, and then that's when we knew we had it. And it's just pure elation.
Yeah, what's that like? Who's the first person you call?
I called my father once I got back to get my phone, just because he's the big rugby man. Like, he's the reason I play rugby. My whole family, Shannon RFC back home, so rugby's always been in my blood. It wasn't an option that I wouldn't play. And then it's just hanging out with the lads. What was really nice was that because of the restrictions that are in around the world, but in Monaco, we weren't allowed out to any pubs or bars or nightclubs, and all we did was sit as a team on the floor outside the elevators for the night and just kind of sat chatting to each other, and that was actually ideal. We loved it.
Right. So you said the next thing is making selection for the games themselves. And we had Eve on a little bit earlier on. The games we're counting down the time to the games in a matter of weeks now, as opposed to months. They're right there. So what happens? What's that process like, and how competitive is it?
Yeah, it's very competitive. There's a couple of guys coming back from injury now. A guy called Peter Maher, who picked up an ankle injury. He's back. He's an unbelievable player. He'll be putting his hand up for selection. Gavin Mullen's on the way back now. He was initially picked for the Olympic repechage. So, and then there's the 14 lads that were actually over there in Monaco. There was 2 traveling reserves as well. So that's a lot of people that can be picked. And I think only 13 can go. So there's going to be a few people upset again. And it could be me, but I'm hoping I did enough to get my name on the plane, and that we can represent Ireland and just do the job over there, maybe grab a medal.
And when will you know?
I'm not actually too sure, man. It's going to have to be soon, I'd say, because the Olympic squads have been named. It's just because this was the last chance saloon, 1 spot left, and we managed to get it. So I'd say behind the scenes now, the Olympic Committee and the IRFU are all working everything out to try and get all the formalities done. And I'll say it's going to be soon enough.
Well, it must be, because it's 4 weeks, essentially. The 26th to the 28th of July is when the sevens competition takes place, and it's in the Tokyo Stadium, which people will remember from the opening match of the Rugby World Cup in 2019. It's an incredible, like, the fact that the Rugby World Cup was just there and the Olympics are going to be just there, and you're going to be, hopefully, fingers crossed, going to it. What a whirlwind.
Oh man, it's the stuff of dreams. Like this, I touched on it earlier, but the amount people have sacrificed for this team is just, it's so emotional. Like, everyone has their own story. I kind of compare ourselves to the Gal lads in that we all have second jobs. Like, we're not paid well at all to play sevens. Like, we just do it because we love it, and to do it at the top of world sport. The Olympics is the pinnacle of sport, and we're going to go there. And it's just, we're all friends as well, so like going to Olympics with our mates, and oh man, it's incredible. And I'm just so happy for the lads and so proud of the performance we put in.
When you've seen the success of somebody like Hugo Keenan come from the sevens and just nail down the number 15 slot in the Ireland jersey, is there that hope for some of your teammates as well, that there is a career in the 15s game? Or the way you've talked about it there, kind of, for some people it's completely separate?
Yeah, man, it's a difficult one, to be honest. Hugo's done really well, and Will Connors and Jimmy O'Brien and people like that. Because the thing with them was they were always contracted to Leinster, so they were always going to go back. But the thing is, there's sevens lads playing there. Like Jordan Conroy, for instance, he's the top try scorer in the world for sevens. Probably the best winger I've ever played with in my life. And the thing is, he's just contracted to sevens, so it would have to take a 15s club to get up off their bums and look and realise how good he is and give him a shot at 15s. That's if he wants to play it. But it has been a great stepping stone for lads that are still contracted to provinces, and you can see that obviously because Hugo Keenan has the 15 jersey on his back for the 15s side.
As a man of interest, Greg, why did you decide against having that lifestyle that some of your fellow Love Islanders have gone on to have? What was it that made you think, actually, you know what, I don't want that?
Yeah, it was such an easy decision for me, because even before I ended up winning Love Island, I was like, I'm always coming home. Regardless if I spent 2 hours in there or 2 weeks in there, I was coming home. It's just because we've put so many years into building the sevens team up. And if I just got way too big for my boots, went on a show for 2 weeks, won it, and thought I was the big man, move over to London and become a celebrity, I just wouldn't be able to look myself in the mirror anymore, and I wouldn't have my mates. They'd all just be like, "You sold out," and it just wasn't part of me. I don't know if it's an Irish thing. I don't know. I just felt like it wasn't me. I had to come back and play my part for the team, and it was a big risk, and I nearly lost it all by not getting selected. But it paid off, and hard work pays off.
Was that straightforward? Was that an immediate thing? Like you kind of won, and then obviously had a little bit of time afterwards where you're just having the crack, but then straight away back into it? Or was there part of you that was thinking, I need to investigate this celebrity lifestyle just a little bit, need to have a little look just to see exactly what it's like?
Yeah, no, man, it was straight away. So we got out of the villa on the 1st of August back in 2019, and I remember I was back training on the 26th of August. That was the first day of pre-season, and I said to everyone on ITV and everyone that was talking to me, I was like, I'm back training on 26, lads. I have to be home in Ireland for that time. Whatever I have to do between now and then, I can do. And so I did that, and it didn't go down very well. Obviously, I don't know if you followed the whole Love Island story, but I didn't stay with Amber, and I said, look, this isn't going to work. I'm trying to get to the Olympics. You're over there doing your celebrity stuff. Let's just call it a day now, so it doesn't get too emotional, and we don't get too deep. But that didn't work out. People weren't happy with me that I didn't follow the Love Island life, but I was happy with me, and it seems to have paid off now. But don't get me wrong, I've taken my opportunities in between what I've been doing. So I did my rugby, I did my law, and I took all my brand opportunities and my presenting opportunities in the middle of that. So I'm a happy man, and I took what I could get. And
so the Olympic Games are going to be over in a month. That's the other thing about this. It's like everything, and we've heard so much from Olympians in the past who are like, I put my entire life into qualifying for the Olympics. I went and I did the Olympics, and immediately afterwards I was like, what now? But I guess because you do have other things going on, that is less likely, or it might be a little bit of an easier transition for you.
Yeah, it's kind of a scary one because I have so many different things going on, but none of them are like solidified. You know, it's like I do a job here, I do a job there. I love the presenting. I never would in a million years thought I would have done presenting, but I got to go on a TV show, I did a radio show, and I really enjoyed that. So maybe go down that route. I really enjoy my fitness. I was doing a bit of pandemic Pilates for people during the first lockdown. I really enjoyed that. So I have a couple of things that I'd love to really delve into and give my energy to. But at the moment, the Olympics is the main thing in my life, and that's what's going to hopefully happen.
The Irish Joe Wicks, is that what we're hearing from Greg O'Shea today?
Well, maybe, man. We'll see what happens.
And come here, the actual training then over the next 2 or 3 weeks, how intense can it be? Or like it obviously needs to be up at a level so that you hit the ground running really quickly, because again, it's a short, sharp shock when you get over to Japan. But yeah, it's a brilliant issue to have. The strength and conditioning team and the coaching team needs to get together very quickly and go, okay, well, this is all a bit new, but probably you're used to it, I guess.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure the S&Cs and the physios and the head coaches had all planned for us qualifying just in case it had happened. So they have all these sessions and everything that we're going to do planned out already for the next couple of weeks. But the greatest thing, one of the greatest things from the weekend is that no one got injured. So everyone's fully fit and ready to be selected. So training over the next 3 weeks will be intense. It's about keeping bodies fit, but also keeping the level of training at a high enough level so we can actually compete at the Olympics and do the country proud.
And I think it was yesterday, the day before, this year's contestants for Love Island were all announced. Was there a little twinge, or was it like I'm really glad that I did that and it's over in my life? Or how did you feel when you saw that coming out?
Yeah, man, I'm delighted I did Love Island. I think back now and I'm like, I would definitely do it again. So that says a lot to me that I would do it again. I've taken so many opportunities from it and it's been great. But I'm kind of sick and I haven't seen an Irish person in it now. There wasn't an Irish person in the winter one that happened, and there doesn't seem to be one in that lineup just yet. But hopefully there is throughout the summer, because the Irish people seem to do well when we go into the villa. I was
going to say,
more Higgins.
They're not mad keen when you win things, though. It's great until you win.
Yeah, they weren't too happy then when you go back home and follow your dreams.
Well, listen, we're all glad you did. Congratulations, Greg. Well done. Thanks a million.
Thanks a million, man. Really appreciate it.
It's Greg O'Shea there, part of the Ireland Sevens team who qualified for the Olympic Games. And as I said, that's happening really quick. It's the 26th of July that those games are going to be played. So we are hurtling very quickly towards the Olympic Games. 27 minutes past 9 this morning.